celestial bis, celestial understanding. They are called, but Oligis, a tiny fraction of the populace truly understand the firmament and the celestial markers that are left above our heads. So thank you for those that have spiritual eyes and been able to see what has been happening and know that we're coming back to a very important place in time that we were at back in 2014, where we had the super blood moons. And now we're, literally weeks away from coming back into a place in time that is extremely important. So if you've been paying attention celestially, you'd be understanding and you'd have that bis, but most don't pay attention to anything above their heads. They remember, they think God's in the sky. God's in the sky. So you got the gods in the sky generation, kind of like at the time of Rome, where they thought gods were in the sky, and here we are again. So thank you for the bis, the understanding, this celestial journey that we've been on for, over 10 years now, watching these celestial markers that have been left and have declared the handiwork that it says in the book of Psalms of the Father. And we've seen that same celestial conjunction of the marriage of the morning and the king's star, which birthed the age from fire, the god of wrath and war and sacrifice and blood and fee and fine and ritual, to the god of meek, the meek 490 gospel, those that are bound by the testament, not of the old, but of the spiritual covenant that has been made that day he divorced his bride and made a new covenant. So he had an old covenant, and because Israel cheated on his agape, so if he said, let vengeance be mine, we're not supposed to be going outside and seeking vengeance. So what a blessing it is to be a part of this 490 gospel, the last generation, those that are a part of this celestial dance, if you will, in the stars, this beautiful walk, if you will. It's like it's been a long walk, and it talks about this in the book of Psalms, day after day and night after night. This is how this is declared. So there's a clock, and it leaves time markers, and it's left, again, a marker that was left marking an age from fire to water. So very important celestial marker in history. This changed a whole age when we saw this conjunction, the marriage between the king and the morning star. So no kings. They had their no kings ritual festival. So quite blasphemy, He said in Revelation 3:11, I come quickly, let no one take your crown. So they were just canceling out all these idiots that don't know anything about scripture, and that's okay. You can't turn a goat into a sheep. It's not possible. So be thankful for that. Whoever was already chosen from the foundation of the world, many are called, but few, Oligis, are chosen. That's already been pre-selected, predetermined, divided, separated from his purity, his light, his no imperfections whatsoever, sovereign and blameless, and yes, unadulterated. He is the Word, and he's not a flesh vessel. My father, they just had Father's Day. What a bunch of blasphemous, heathenist swine celebrating anything on these holiday calendar wheels that they love to celebrate so much in this modern, twisted sex ritual, their orgy calendar that they celebrate, their bestiality, ritual in the middle of the winter, and they bang, have an orgy, masse, Christ mass, their 3-in-1 gender, God, Baphomet, Bel, sun and tree worship, grove, Santa, Krampus, throw your kids in the fire, Moloch, eat your kids. So that's all part of this same ritual of the kings. No kings. So does anybody want to take a little guess on who was funding the no kings ritual that they had? Their unleashing military on the streets, just blowing posse comitatus. I told you here we are already. Didn't take long, make mentions of these things, and then boom, there it is. Just like that. So Marines on the streets of California, and the people loved it. They want more. They just want more. They want an overlord and to be mastered and controlled and have a ruler. Lead, follower, get the hell out of the way. When I was a veteran, so most people are just followers. They'll do whatever they're told. They're NPCs, if you will. We used to call them nons. They ain't got no, no skin in the game. So I rebuke this disgusting, filthy military on the streets. This country is swine and gone down the rat hole, and it is disgustingly just tromping on the inalienable rights, God-given, protected, natural, organic right of the land, the people. So we've seen such a ignorance of people thinking that this had anything to do with Mexicans. Obviously, Mexicans were part of the equation, but since the Obama administration, the 44th regime, it was OTM, other than Mexican, but that's, people couldn't remember. We've already had this discussion here at High Desert Faith and Truth. People couldn't tell the difference between a Venezuelan, a Salvadorian, a Mexican. Go try to tell somebody from El Salvador, a Salvadorian, call them a Mexican, and see what they say to you. So, but the average ignorant American couldn't tell a Latino from. So I think it's absolutely hilarious, all these Mexican flags waving, and it hadn't anything to do with. Nobody wants to talk about all these. The dragon coming over here, the great red dragon. Nope, we'll be quiet about all those. 80% were other than Mexicans. So that's stupid. And what they're doing is just ridiculous, going out and taking people who have been out in this country for decades. So I already talked about this in great length about how most people assimilated. This in like Germany, where they're over there of some other like Muslim, and they don't assimilate. Most people came here and assimilated just fine. So there's always a bad apple in every bunch. But so what a pre-programmed, disgustingly filth to watch a people bunch trip out about Mexicans. It wasn't about Mexicans. That's how ignorant this country it is that I live in. So as they put military on the streets, and people love it, they ate it up. I kept going through all these comment sections and reading all this stuff, doing a massive amount of research during this time, because this is who funded the kings, no kings? Who is the funding behind that? Anybody want to take a stab at that? Military, Marines on the street, National Guard, all these cop suckers. What a bunch of sellouts standing against people's right to protest, your First Amendment right. So we all have that. So you don't need to get no stupid permit to ask permission to have redress grievances. So, but I told you, people don't care about their rights anymore in this corporation, not even a country anymore. It's not even a nation. There are no united laws. They're all different from one state to another. So you get policed different from one cop to the next. If a cop gets maybe the wife gives him some little extracurricular activity downstairs, and maybe he doesn't get that. You think you're going to get policed the same way when he goes out on duty and he didn't get what he wanted from his wife, or vice versa. Maybe she wants it from her husband, or whatever it is. That's just one little thing, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people might not do their job the same way. So that might be a deciding factor, huh? So who funded this? Who funded this whole no kings? And I've been telling you about nothing but talking about over and over about the two kings, the king of Revelation, locked up in the pit, and they're going to come out with their no kings when that kind of convenient. So who funded it? Who was the funding behind this whole, out of nowhere, and all this stuff showed up? This was heavily pre-planned long before. You didn't just show up with all that many people on the streets. They literally, fueled this with internet. This is a 1945 ritual all over again. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, but people aren't going to get it, and that's fine. I know that. People think that there's going to be a physical antichrist. There's no physical anything under this testament. Physical things will happen, but we're not under a physical covenant under this contract of bride. Remember, the bride contract that we're under, not by law. I'm not bound by law. I'm destined, not by a fate of law. I'm bound. I'm not. People don't. Many are called. Oligis are chosen. Not many. Father doesn't love. Most people go to hell. They're already in a hell of their own. Hell is not a place. Hell is the word knowledge. Abyss is the word hell. So it's not a place. So thanks for your answer. Anybody else want to take one more? And I'll tell you who funded all this. Because if it's a 1945 ritual that they're doing over World War II, and now it's being done again, this channel is one of the only channels at length, and the only channel I know that's showing you the discovery that the seventh king is being revealed as the eighth king. We're already here. They're already doing it. You're already in WW3. You're already here. They've never started in this country ever with an ordinance falling on somebody's head. That's not how they start, ever. So how did WW2 start? Tariffs. Then we saw what? Pearl Harbor. That's been mentioned. Didn't Musk say something about that? And then they mentioned that it was like that it was Ukraine's Pearl Harbor Day. You guys are missing it. So like I said, I just been mad studying this. I've been doing some work over on the backup channel too. So not too many people showed up over there, but that's all right. We got a couple people that showed face over there, which was good. So anyways, this is such an obvious, they're not hiding it. So it was the Waltons who are behind this. Everything I keep telling you about this whole work camps and World War II and intern American born citizens and made them do slave labor for the corporation, it's going to happen again. And every day we get closer, we inch closer and closer, this happens. And I didn't get it wrong. It's not about, I'm right about everything. It's, I watch what they do. Remember, I've been blogging on this platform for 12 years. I've had half a dozen or more channels. So I'm not new to this game. So I don't get everything right. And I'm not trying to be some kind of prophet. There is no such thing as prophecy, but nailed it. It was the Waltons who funded this No King's Day. So internment camps coming, concentrate, Walmart, millimeter domes, everything have been, it's not going to not go down. It's going to go down. And like I said, what I'm very glad that didn't happen, because it could have spiraled out of control, was that we could have seen somebody bring in a Second Amendment item, and it could have been one of these, instigators that's funded by these alphabet soup agencies too to do this. But for most part, it was without a lot of violence, which is good, because I had very major concerns that somebody would come use a Second Amendment item and that would give them the reason to tighten, bring in more, and then then they could just continue to instigate and then eventually bring in their tech, which they didn't. And that's fine. I'm sure they got plenty of other events. That thing didn't just spark up out of nowhere. Once again, Walmart's got unlimited. Walmart is America. There's no such thing as America. You might as well just think of Walmerica. That's all it is. It's a corporation. Walmart is a subsidized, government-funded corporation, okay? In cooperation with Department of Homeland Security. So I don't want to hear it. I've studied this place since I'm very offended by the fact that they came out with all American-made products, and 3 years later, pull the rug out from under anything, and everything comes from the dragon after that. So I've been on this corporation for quite some time. And I know they knew who I am because I started one of the first people to ever expose their Bosch facial recognition cameras while they're stopping people at the door. This ain't Costco where they're actually looking at your stuff. They're just slowing you long enough to get your iris scanned. So, oh, I don't want to hear that, Jeffrey. Today it was hard. Go in public. I don't like being like this. I'm going to grow the beard back. I swear, it's hard. People can't concentrate. Can't even talk to people. Used to remember that, and it's like, and I don't mean to go that, but like ladies and stuff. Oh, your jawline. I'm like, growing the beard back, man. This is like, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just. It's hard to get people to listen to you when you're talking these things. They can't take you. You look like a kid, I'm in my 50s for crying out loud. So, but anyways, I know it's a little bit when you're used to seeing something and there's something, and I needed change in my life because Father is just, he beats the crap out of me. If you want to see what happened, I went to go buy the ministry. I went over to pay another payment on that property. And the guy ended up pulling a gun on me. I had to wait for the cops to show up, and oh my gosh. So it's on the backup channel. If you're not subscribed to Silver's Light Gold, it's the backup channel for High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries. You can see it. It's cops. It says something about cops. You'll see there's that Josh Headlight Bezel. He's the guy who came out, but well, I don't do none of that. I don't do religion. So there's a creator, and the only way to the Father is through the Son. So I don't push no religion on nobody. I rebuke all religions. They're vain. He doesn't dwell in temples made by hands or none of that. So, yep, we don't sup with vipers, and people are just, they do these. It was the church who hung him. So what a bunch of idiots be hanging out in a place where the people who hung him. So these people are idiots, but I'm not worried about, like I said, trying to change the world. I already did my time in service. I joined the military at 17, got my honorable discharge, and remember, I still serve. I'm facing a bunch of time right now, being thrown in prison the rest of my life, but that's okay. I'll do it 100 times over. These are I'm not, any society is not a problem with me. Nobody has a problem with me. It's the cops and the government that have a problem with me. So I'm homegrown, baby. Constitutionalist. Not sovereign. I'm not sovereign. I'm not a nationalist, state nationalist. I'm a man of the land, corrupt dust, and soil. I'll go back to that dust. Everything I ever touched, smell, everything I've ever owned, had, it all came from this dust. It'll all go back to the dust. I believe you created who you are. No, you don't create who you are. Father created all things, Jeffrey. So there is a creator, and he created all things, period. And you don't have to agree with anything I say. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to turn a goat into a sheep. There is a writer, an author, a creator, and it is the Most High. He is not flesh, and this is all spoken into existence, not big bang, bang, bang. Here we go with more orgy sex rituals. This is all spoken into existence. He is the Word. He doesn't exist with flesh. He is I am. And he had to birth the flesh vessel to fulfill the Gentile nation because he didn't love everybody. Back in time in history, he didn't love everybody. He only loved one house, Aaron. Well, begotten related was the Levites. So I rebuke these religious idiots. I go into people who are biblical scholars and they can't tell me about these things, but they're idiots. They just learn what's in a box or in a book. A book is a Bible. There was no such thing as a Bible. This was written on scrolls and tablets and pounded out on rock. And, people don't study any of the original text and they go off on these other, and that's okay. Again, I'm not trying to turn a goat into a sheep. So, there is no such thing as free will, JC. I've already taught that many times. There's only agape and what is called porneia. Father knows exactly what you're going to do. He created all things. So you can think that, this crazy old man sitting there telling me that, Father thinks I'm going to turn right 10 years from now. I'm going to remember that 10 years from now. You're not going to cheat, Father. Father created all things. He knows all things. He created all things. There is no such thing as free will. There is only self-will. The Greek word is porneia or idolatria. Latria is to serve. Remember, I'm defying, JC. I only define, where I will not sit there and translate it. There is no such thing as free will, like there's no such thing as freedom. Da-dum-dum-dum. There's the Greek word porneia. Once again, that is idolatry in English, or idolatria. Latria is to serve, and ido is these little two thieves that hang on this crowd. That's okay. No worries, Jeffrey. I'm not trying to turn anybody. It's what I'm saying. This is not. It's already, Father wrote everything. So there's no such thing as luck. There's no such thing as free will. You can't be saved. Once saved, always saved. It's okay. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Okay, thank you, JC. No, I appreciate you being here. Apologize. My shorts are creeping up on me here. Okay. Free will is an illusion. Father knows exactly what you're going to do. You're either going to do the Father's will, which is the word agape. There's different forms of, there's phileo. These are love. These are forms of worldly things and higher things of 2 John and 6 says to walk and follow in the commandments is what's the definition of agape is. So the highest form of love for the Father is to do what you're told. I put it in simple terms. I'm a better. Do, execute the mission. Do what you're told. Don't ask questions. He says, I do all these things after my own counsel. I do them for my own pleasure. I, Father, create all things. I create everything that ever was. I create everything ever written. Everything that ever was not written, and everything that ever will be. I, Father, create good. Once again, he said, I do all these things after my own counsel, and I do them for my own pleasure. And I, Father, create evil. So Father creates evil. He creates vessels of wrath fitted for destruction from the foundation of the world. He creates evil men and women to do sin, commit sin, and then he judges them for the sin that he's created them to do, and then he throws them in hell for the same thing. So that's I am. Most people don't know who God is. God isn't even a word written in the scripture. That's not even a thing. There's no such thing as God. Start thinking, God, now you're going to tell me God's in the sky. Shut up. God is the word. In the beginning was the word. This is all spoken into existence. You sound like one of these religious, idiot, lollipop religious people. So there is no God because God is a title. There's no vowels in Hebrew. So there's no O, A, E, I, O in the original text. So in the original text, remember, he is the God of fire, fee, sacrifice, ritual, war. God required war. He had his favorite. They were called the heavens. Not somewhere in the sky. Heaven's nowhere above your head. Hell's not below your feet. Hell's the word no knowledge. That's what hell is. Hell's not a place. Earth, you don't live on Earth. Earth's not a place. You don't live on planet Earth. There's no such thing as a planet. Father didn't create one planet. He never once said there'll be a one world religion or a one world currency or one world order, but these people go around and saying that. It never says rapture one single time in scripture. There's no such thing as a rapture. That's a bunch of nonsense. See, these are the things that man does. Start thinking there are gods in the sky, and now we're going to believe in lizard people and shapeshifters and aliens. And where is any of that in scripture? You're an idiot. Get out of here, child. Oh, when I was young, I used to do all this nonsense. I was spacey, crazy Tracy, so you ain't going to tell me. My dad told me I wasn't even from this world. I was from somewhere else. I wasn't like my brothers. Their heads might be somewhere in the clouds. I was not even born. He didn't even know if I was his child. He did. He said, why are you not like your brothers? There's something wrong. You're different than, and that's fine. I was always okay with that, but I'm not doing these nonsense gods in the sky. This is exactly why he divorced his bride, his bride Israel. And now nothing's changed. He's not going to go for that. God's not in the sky. Father never existed as an entity with flesh. He had to birth a flesh vessel to fulfill the Gentile nation, grow up. That's not even hard to understand. You've been blinded by some idiocracy religion. Which one are you? Which flavor are you? Which Satanist? Catholicism, that's Satanism. Christianity, they follow the communion, crackers, and grape juice. Baptists, Mormons, they're prophecy. There's no such thing as prophecy. We're not even supposed to celebrate a single day, and we just had Father's Day. And this is to show the idiocracy of the world you live in. Father, as it says in the Ten Commandments, Honor. Remember, this is written on stone. I think these people too much of this dragon pen, or I don't know what their problem is. Too much Adderall or something. Whatever. I don't want to blame it on drugs, but something's wrong with these people. But it says, honor thy father. That is not your dad. Honor thy mother. That is not your mom. We're not supposed to celebrate anything. There's only one Father. That's why the Pope, Papa, they're blasphemy. That's a bunch of Satanism. Catholicism is Satanism. They do their masse. They celebrate their orgy, eat the flesh of the king. See, there's no kings, but the king is there's two kings. Remember, there's the king of the abyss. Revelation 3:11 says, I come quickly, let no one take your crown. And that's not the only king. Remember, there's another king. There's the one who has the key to the pit. Remember, two kings, two crowns? He said in Revelation 3:11, I come quickly, let no one take your crown, because in Revelation 9:11 says they have a king over them. The Angelos, or the angel of the abyss. Hell! 1945, they're going to play this out on you again. You know, just put it in simple terms. You believe in, I'm being serious. Huh. So, God's not in the sky. Father never existed with flesh. He only used to visit one single day a year behind the veil. And they would have a sacrifice at the altar. They would wash their hands in the glassy sea. They would enter into the physical temple because there was a physical law. And behind that right curtain, before they would pass, there would be the table of showbread, the altar incense, and the 7 candlesticks, which represent the 7 churches, or the 7 stars, which are the 7 Pleiades. But you might understand what these things represent in the Old Testament. There was a veil, and behind that veil there were 2 cherubs, and the Ark of the Covenant was the 10 Commandments. This was the Torah, or the law. There were 613 statutes, commandments contained in the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. This was the law that was given to Moses. I already know what you believe. You don't even know, and that's okay, man. At the end of the day, you're probably a good person. Have a good night. Okay, well, you're an idiot, Jeffrey. I already know what you believe. Well, believe isn't a thought in your head. So being a good person, I don't care about being a good person. This ain't about being nice. The word nice means to be stupid. So there's no such thing as believing in God or believing in Jesus. Believe is an action word, not some thought in your head. But that's okay. You have very little definition, and I don't care what you think, okay? Most people go to hell. God doesn't love everybody. The heading of this was, many are called, Oligis are chosen. So it's not any personal attack on you. So, okay, you don't really know. I'm saying you really don't know, but I'm saying that I'm nice way because I don't even know her. See, yeah, you don't even know what the word nice means. The word nice means to be stupid. You can leave now, Jeffrey. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. Don't say another thing. Don't want you here. Goodbye. See ya. Get out of here. No mas. Adios, amigo. Goodbye. As cold as ice. A little frosty in here, huh? You gonna be a little salty? You don't need to stay in here. Don't worry about it. Not supposed to sup with vipers. I already told you that. I don't cast my pearls before swine. So I don't do no idiocracy religion. Father doesn't dwell within houses made by hands. They used to put a physical flesh offering of blood of a lamb and all. I don't want to sit there and, yeah, I know. Curiosity killed the cat. Kick the can. Are you American? Start standing up for something that you might know something about, because you don't know anything about the word. That's fine. Go study the definition of the word. That's what you should do. We should all give that to everybody. I still do the same thing. Put definition. He said, I am the word aletheia is truth in Greek. Probably don't speak. Oligos is a Greek word. Many are called, but oligos are chosen. That's what the heading to this. So don't worry about it. It's no personal attack against you. The word nice means to be stupid. So Allah Akbar. Okay, yeah, go touch kids. Get out of here, you triple 3-in-1 God and all-in-one kitty touch. It's never okay to touch kids. Get out of here, child. See, I told you something. I knew it, man. They did. They dropped 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes, and they still don't care. They're still touching kids. So this Jeffrey don't give a rat's ass about anything but his own little curiosity. So cat and mouse, remember? You mean a little wave of carrot in front of you? Come on, a little feather. Oh, I'm not here to tickle your ear. You're a little over your league. You're out of your league. Go by. I'm not above you. I just don't want you here. So don't say anything else, please. I'll ban you here. I won't permanently ban you, but it's never okay to touch kids. So take your Allah Akbar somewhere else. Your Kamala Allah Akbar, your purple people eater, Kamala, Donald, Allah Akbar, Trump, Biden. Shut up. Seriously, get out of here, child. All right, see? You just got yourself banned because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. You could have sat there and been quiet, but goodbye. Already told you, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you and you're still in here. So don't say anything, please, Vane, in here. I don't sup with vipers, and this ain't some pissing contest. Don't worry about it. I don't have to sit there and hang out with people who are not in the narrow way. Whether there are 2 or 3 gathered in my agape, there I'll be. So if you ain't in the narrow way, then goodbye. Goodbye. I'll show you to the narrow way if you're in the broad way, but if you don't want to take any direction, then you're a brute beast. He said don't help people who don't want to help themselves. So you want to just be curious because you're just like a cat. That's all right. We know what happened with Cat. Don't worry, they got plenty of lives. There's no threat to your 9 lives there. All right. But anyways, all right. Many are called, but oligos are chosen. Oligos is a Greek word that means a puny. It's a fraction. Father doesn't love everybody. He only loved the house of Aaron and Levite. He did not love the Gentiles. So he didn't never love everybody. That's stupidity. It's either ignorance or you're just brutish, or you probably most people are just ignorant is all. Ignorance or ignoramus is the same word as idiotos. But if I call somebody an idiot, they're going to get all offended because there's some trophy generation or something. I can't lose. Kind of like all these thumpsters. All I got to do is win, win, win. It's the same bunch of children and now a bunch of grown adults acting the same exact way. They can't lose. Give them a trophy. All they do is win. Ride the train into the... Remember, they're slamming the hopium and drinking the Kool-Aid. They got Democrats and Republicans. It's a big donkey and an elephant. It's a big circus. It's like Vargas. You ever go see the Big Top Show? A bunch of tightroping, huh? Walking down the old wire there, huh? No, broad is the way that leads to the wide gate. That's where many enter through the old, wide circus Vargas. Ain't you ever been to the circus and seen the old clown show where they're juggling your... Never mind. Remember, they're juggling your kids' tomatoes, your little little boys' cherry tomatoes, and touching a little girl's slot, but you don't care anything about that. How long ago was that? You don't care. You don't care. Jimmy Crack Corn, huh? So that's what I'm saying. People love their Broadway Jesus, their Broadway lifestyle, and that's fine. We're not here to, that's what it says. Many are called, but most people go to the abyss, and they're in their own abyss now, if you think about it, Fox, because the word abyss is knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That knowledge is what they lack. So they're already in hell, because hell's not a place below your feet. It's not a place. Hell is knowledge, no knowledge. Hell is the word abyss. Abyss is BYSS, is the same word as BATHOS or BUSOS. Bathos, Busos, and Bis all mean knowledge. He says, my people shall perish for lack of bis. Where will they spend their time gnashing teeth for? Oh, yes, in the abyss. It's not a place. So many people are already there. And that's just part of how this is, because nobody dies and goes to hell. That's not how that works. You will have a judgment and face judgment where you will be put in that final place and be stripped of every single bit. And all you'll want is just a jot, I bet, or a yod of the aletheia, the truth, just any taste of it. They say people in hell want ice water, huh? Remember Christ said, if you drink of the living water, the woman at the well, you will never thirst again. What do you think he meant? It's the word. Daily bread, what I feed you in here, the meat. I don't give you some watered down milk, right? Give you the milk, and then he just like that. I can't do that. Only he can give you that deep water. It's in his word. Look at the age you're living in now, Aquarius, where that living water is being poured out on Fomalhaut, the fish, the age of deception by the vessel. He said, go to the man pouring out the water, correct? There you go. That's why we come here, right? Hallelujah. So thank you for the ministry. We don't want to sup with vipers and Yeah, they do. It's the great falling away. That's what it talks about, JC. The great falling away from his living water, his bis, his knowledge. It should quench you, right? No, I'm never quenched. I'm always thirsty. I'm always thirsty for more bis, right? I can't get enough of his gospel, right? So I'm always seeking more. But you know what I'm saying? That's why. Remember what he told that woman at the well, what he meant. When you drink of that living water, that deep water, not that water that was on the surface that could be contaminated, that water at the top, but that down there in the lateral, that deep, deep water that's been filtered. It's the reverse. It's like, it's the same thing he's telling us with being refined like silver, to be put through the press so you're refined. Do you understand? It's the same thing. Are you hearing the parable, what he's telling you? That deep water is what filters that. And when you drink of that living water, you will never thirst again because you've been given the aletheia. So we're not going to get that until we pass. You should read through the scripture. Please read. It tells us about how when we pass, we will be shown all these things. That's why I keep you out of Enoch's, both Enochs. I keep you away from Jasher, and I keep you out of Lilith, and I keep you out of the Dead Sea Scroll. I don't talk about these things. They're not the gospel. It doesn't matter. You study those on your own when you're away from here. Please don't talk about them in here. We're gospel focused. We stay up on current events. And hey, he stood against the halakha and Haggadah. So I'm going to tell you what in this modern day, what is halakha and what is Haggadah. And what is halakha and Haggadah is Christmas and Labor Day and Father's Day and all these things. Is this corporation is halakha and Haggadah. Revised statutes are not part of the original constitutional republic. No, they're not. That revised statute didn't go through the House, Congress, and Senate. So these were added. That's a halakha law. And he stood up to that, and they hated him for that. Remember, he ate wheat on the Sabbath. Remember, they had changed all the laws. Have they not done this in this corporation? So I hope that you understand. Now, maybe you don't understand it, and that's not going to, you go as a corporation and you act as a corporation, you're going to be judged as a corporation. He stood against the corporation of the day. They were feeing and taxing, and the same thing we see in the modern day going on right now, they were doing back then, and he stood against that. And, they loved him so much that they killed him for doing that, right? Mm-hmm. They killed him. Does anybody want to hang you or put holes in your body and your hands and feet, torture you, stretch you back so you can't breathe? What do you think all this I can't breathe ritual is? With this respiratory and the whole, I got to be careful what I say here. But anything medical, man, there is something that they tagged this channel. So we did see a little downtime because of that. Just so you know, we got to be careful with this medical talk here. It is what it is. Jimmy Crack Horn. So, but no, pay attention here. You'll see this is quite obvious. Try to remember who is the bringer of the disease and the cure of the disease. That would be Apollyon. Yeah. That's what this is. This is the same ritual that they're doing over and over again. Right now, on the ground, they're playing this out in real time. They're playing this out in real time. They are, whether people realize this or not. They've been doing this 1945. This is the only platform right now, channel, that's exposing this 1945 seventh king being revealed as the eighth king. Here we are again. You got it. You got it. And we're doing it again. So I would hope that you be very prepared, because remember, it started in World War II with sanctions. Then we saw Pearl Harbor. And we keep seeing these mentions. And then we saw Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So the thing that's going to do this, though, is where I'm not going to get this wrong on these current events with we're supposed to stand it. It's the Waltons that are doing this. So I didn't get this wrong. I hope you discovered that while I took a pause and was doing some work on the backup channel and doing other things out here at the ministry. It was the Waltons who sponsored that No King's Day. So they're behind this. This corporation is Walmart. I've been telling you that this is a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. Most people act like robots. They're programmed. And they've got people, again, believing that robots can learn. And, you know, they've recently put out this, the robot has figured out how not to turn itself off. This is movie-esque. If it is not, you're just not seeing where they're headed with this. So I'm very thankful that over this No Kings Day that we didn't see some Second Amendment items fired off at somebody and then being able to bring this tech. But I think they're waiting. They're don't tell me they're not going to use this. I'm a veteran, and we've had this tech long before, you know, you think they released this iPhone, you know, 5, 6, 7. They're 50, 100, 150. They have thousands of years old technology. Thousands of years old technology. I haven't used them yet. I went and got some more markers today. Dang, I can't believe how expensive those things were. You know, I got some more. I got some other colors. But I do appreciate it. I've got them sitting up there. I haven't done anything on the board since then. So I went by the Goodwill to get another whiteboard, just a smaller one I could stick it behind me or something like that. But I space it off. When I go into town, I don't want to stay there very long. So anyways, we need to stand against this corporation, and, you know, that's okay. Most people won't. They're not going to do this. They're going to continue to do what's comfortable for them. And that's just how they got away with doing the whole scamdemic, you know, was pretty easily to just fool people. Because, you know, it says in the scripture, it says that they will be fooled by sorcery. And that is the word, if you look in your lexicon, that is the word pharmakia. So we've already seen that. And so you should hope, again, that they're doing this as part of this ritual. And I know nobody else has done this in the length that this platform here has done, this 1945 ritual. How much does it cost to make a nickel? How much does it cost to make a nickel? How much does it cost to make one of these right now? How much it costs to make one of these? Because remember, I got a penny in here somewhere. Remember, they took these away, which are clad. Okay, or somewhere close to that, you know, between 12 and 14 cents. So they told us that they got rid of the penny because it's too much to make. Well, what the hell? That's the stupidest thing, guys. People will just fall for the stupidest things. They're going to tell everybody Trump told the Secretary of Treasury to quit minting these things, and they're not even made of copper anymore. They're made of clad. There's more copper probably, I think, in a dime than like a dime or a quarter, obviously, because there's copper. If you flip a quarter on its side, there's copper in the side of this. But this, what this is the ignorant of people right now. It costs more to make a nickel than it does to make a penny. And I didn't see them clipping the nickel. No coins are made of 5G resin. That's stupid. But that's funny. You don't obviously have any idea what 5G whiz is, but hear me out, guys. They said that they clipped the Secretary of Treasury was told by Donald Trump, Mr. McScrooge, Mr. McMoneybags, to stop minting. No, I know. That's fine. For the 5G whiz. That's okay. You're just putting a little, I know. It's like the cheese whiz. It's not real. Isn't that crazy, JC? Federal and state, and then you get taxed on those, and then you drive away, you get taxed in your gas, you got a car, your cell phone, insurance taxed on that, gas tax, house tax, renters or tax on your garbage. Sickening. I hate this country. Sucks. This country's garbage. Anybody who thinks this country is a good country is an idiot. All we do is get taxed. and ruled, right, by these overlords. So they told everybody that they stopped minting the penny. This is a 1945 ritual, brothers and sisters. They took the copper, they replaced it and made steel pennies. They took the nickel because that nickel makes stainless steel not rust. So how important is it going to be to get this nickel for these future wars? This makes, now, copper is a very important. Remember that acts as an antimicrobial and antibacterial, okay? But nickel is what they put in stainless steel, like Mr. Stinky Muskrat. He can't, his little rusty dustpans driving down the road can't even go 500 miles on a charge. But anyways, he's got his rusty dustpans driving down the road, right? And those things are rusting. They're already showing you this. This is a war metal. This is a war metal. They took both of these in 42 to 45. They already took this one, and nobody said a damn thing about how this one, and they said it was because the cost of this one is why they took it, when this one cost way more to make than this one. That's how stupid Americans are. I rebuke all these people who live in this country. I live in the world of the most idiocratic nation ever. They just keep a nation that trades its minerals for paper payments. This is a 1964 quarter. This is a 90% silver quarter. You're getting taxed on your own poop. Thank you, Zero Fox. You're getting taxed on your own crap. Hey, go to join the military. You can get paid to take a crap. Oh, whatever. So that's true. Fox is on it. I like it. So this silver quarter is worth about, what is it, 25, 26 times face right now. So what's that quarter worth? 4 of these, right, times face, that's $26 divided by 4. What's that quarter? Here's a silver dime. There's 14 dimes in an ounce. That's a silver dime. It's a Rosie, called a Roosevelt or a Rosie dime. Anything 64 older is 90% silver. What's that dime worth? 10 of those make $26. So these are like tacos or burritos. In some countries, this will pay for a whole meal, like Ecuador. So this is ridiculous. You got a couple of 64 quarters? Oh, okay. Well, don't worry about it. Oh my goodness. Man, I got something. My eyes are just hammered, guys. I'm just having issues. Show you and got something today. These are quarter ounce Liberty. That they used to make this in a gold piece. I got these today. These are quarter ounces. These are called fractional silver. These are actually more than a quarter because a quarter has 90% silver. This is a true quarter ounce of silver. 999. The quarter itself is 90% silver. It takes more of these to make a full ounce. This is called fractional silver or bullion. This isn't from a mint, but this is a quarter ounce. I got these today, and I didn't have to pay the premium on them, which was really nice. So they come in these little tubes. So here, not like the sound of silver, baby. That's called a silver waterfall. When you do that, hear that sound? Silver has a very unique sound to silver. That's what, like, you put money at and came in, give me a drink there, bartender. You ever hear a Western? and you hear that sitting on it, that's when you know they're not using they're using real silver. Anybody watch a good Western knows they'll use real silver because somebody knows the sound of silver. It has a very unique sound all by itself. So, yeah, they had these nice tubes. There was tubes of 20. So, very nice fractional silver today. Was able to pick some of these up. Yeah. While you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. There we go. You hear that? That's a silver. It's called a silver waterfall. No, we won't walk on the streets paved with it, but it is. And heaven is not. Heaven's not above your head. So, this is God's money. This is God's money. So nobody will ever talk down gold or silver to me. He told us to be like gold and silver, refined. So they'll throw their gold and silver in the streets. They already are. 5,000 ounces on the top of Israel's head in their country. How many ounces of silver has been destroyed in the last few days with all this bombing going on in Iran? You know, was it 3,000 to 5,000 ounces? That means there's 5,000 of these in the tip of a smart missile, cruise missile. Some of these ones that are launching to come and hit its target, absolutely destroyed. All that silver gone. So, but you can't take your gold with you after you die. But gold is money, and they've always used it. They sold Christ for 30 pieces of silver. So we need to have some form of something that doesn't lose its value. You could take an ounce of gold at the time of, Christ or Rome or whatever, and that would buy you a toga. You could take your lady out to get her a bottle of wine and buy her a nice steak dinner, and that never changes. So this is money. Anything else, what Jamie Dimon said, gold and silver are money, everything else is credit. So yeah, and have rice and beans, have a water filter, have a way to protect. I always show all this stuff first. Don't ever buy even a piece of this unless you got tons of rice and beans put up. Where's the water filter? You got no business owning anything in this, anything. Unless you got a water filter, plenty of food, a way to protect it. And then you might take a look at something like that. So, yeah. Like I said, it's just something, again, that people always steal mine. Remember, I just had 40 pounds of silver stolen from me. So, I just lost 40 pounds of silver. And it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that many years ago. I just lost 25 pounds of silver. So, yeah, careful. People will take your silver from you. People are ruthless. They don't care. Oh, did I drop one? Let me count these. 2. 17. Uh-oh, we're missing a few. Better get my butt up. I think we dropped a few of them in here. Uh-oh. Did I lose them? Two, 4. 17. Uh-oh. Better count these. We dropped a few, but where'd they go? I think we dropped them down in the couch. Let's see what we got here. 4. There's 20 on that one. Uh-oh, I'm going to tear apart this couch. I dropped 3 of them. How the heck did I already drop 3 of them? I dropped 3 of them. Okay, there's 20 in that one. See how many are in this one. Yep. All right, I lost 3 of them. The couch ate 3 of them when I spilt them. I have to look at the couch here. And what do we got here? We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Uh-oh. Maybe they're in the dog's mouth. So you can pay Caesar with it. Oh, that's pretty funny. All right. Dropped them on my lap. So this couch is notorious for eating. Let me put rice and beans. We'll put up our other silver so we don't. Okay, hold on here. Let's give me a pause here for a second. Where the heck did they go? Where did they go? Dad lost the silver in the couch. You think you can see it? There's something right here. It's shiny. Wow. Where did they go? I dropped them right in my lap. Right in my lap. Here's 2 more. All right, we're missing only 1 more. There they are. Oop, there they are. Oop, there they are. All right, anyways, these are some really nice 1/4 ounce pieces. So something, again, I really didn't have to pay the premium on them, which was nice. And very seldom when you buy fractional silver do you not have to pay a much higher premium. So actually, I don't even want to tell you the price I paid for them. It was a very good price. That's all I'll tell you. A lot less than they are online, but that's okay. I bought from this place for 10, 15 years, so I have a standing relationship with them. So I bought some of these today, which were really nice because, again, I don't have a ton of fractional silver, and I used to really collect a lot. Fractional silver is kind of my thing. If you break things up, I don't really consider it like that. I consider it transactions. Like a silver dime, you could have 1 ounce, or you could have 14 dimes. What would you rather have? Would you rather have 1 ounce or 14 dimes? See, to me, that's 14 transactions. That's one transaction. That's like putting all your eggs in one basket. There's 14 dimes to make 1 ounce silver dimes in 1 ounce of silver. So what would you rather have? Put your answer in the chat. Would you rather have 14 dimes or 1 ounce of silver? And I think it's 5.5 quarters make up 1 ounce of silver, since there's not a full ounce of silver because it's 90% silver. And the quarter doesn't mean it's quarter ounce. So you'd rather have the 1 ounce of silver? Some people would. Some people like bigger pieces, like bigger chunker, like a 5-ounce bar or a 10-ounce bar, than rather having a whole stack of dimes. Thanks for your answer. Everybody's kind of has a little bit different, to me, I'd rather have 14 transactions. I can make 14 separate transactions, even though I might have to give you all 14. Maybe I'll say, hey, can't you give it to me for 13? Come on, man, help a brother out there, lady in red. You'd do it for 13, wouldn't you? 13? 13 dimes. Anybody 13? Would you 13? Somebody help me out with 13. Anybody? 1? Say brother 1, just 1. Can't leave, brother. You got to leave a brother empty-handed. Can't give me. You could do it for 13. So you get a little haggling power there. See that? Might be able to walk away with an extra transaction. So I like the idea of separating my transactions into smaller transactions. And again, so this here today, and they make many different sizes, like I think I even got one that has here, I think I one that has a 10th ounce silver, which was like, $3 or something, $3-4. Okay, yeah, so look, like here's a whole, like each one of these are going to have a different value. Okay, look, this is a dime and this is a 10th ounce of silver. These aren't the same. Look, that one's actually bigger than that one. See, it's bigger than that one. This one's bigger. So this is going to be worth more money because that's a 10th ounce of silver. That's a dime. That's an ounce. This is a, where'd that one go? This is worth more than a quarter. This is a quarter. So each one of these is a different value. James, each one of these holds a different value. So it's like I have different means of, I have different dollar bills. It's like $100 bill. This is like a $30 bill. This is like it breaks it down. It's like making change. So you can actually not spend all your, money at one time. So these are quarters, and all they look like a quarter. Remember, the quarter is smaller copper that's put in that gives it that wearability. So it doesn't, so they can slide in their pocket and wear against each other, not wear the face off of them. So, but if you see what I'm saying, now those are 2 different sizes. Here's a 3rd size, here's a 4th size, and here's a 5th size. Here's 5 different denominations of money. Not any one of these are worth the same. Every one of them will have a different value to them. You know what I'm saying? So some people like to have all their, one and like have $100 bill. They'd rather have $100 bill in their pocket than, 5 20s. Maybe you want a $25 bill. You want a $25 bill? Maybe you want like a $3 bill. Maybe you want a $5 bill. Maybe you want a $6 bill, or what I'm saying? Each one of these has a different value to them because they're different sizes. see if you guys can see that. Each one of them has a different size. So I like the idea of having, instead of one transaction, what if they don't have any change? What if they don't have any change? Well, what if I have enough change of my own? Then I could say, hey, can you accept 13 of these? Like I asked Lady in Red. It takes 14 of these to make one of these. 14 dimes to make 1 ounce of silver. 14 dimes. So maybe I can get somebody to take 13 dimes instead of 14. See how that already gave me some ability to try to put something back in my pocket and walk away with some money still? Because if they didn't have change and you did it, then maybe you could get what you needed and done your one and done transaction. Cool. You still were able to make a transaction. But by not limiting myself to put all of this in one transaction, if I had 14 dimes, I might even say, hey, how about 12? Would you take 12 dimes? They're silver. These are silver dimes. They're 1964 and older, and I'd really like to, whatever it is, see, somebody might take that transaction. Does that make sense? Now, Lady in Red, why I'm saying I've always preferred to go to smaller. I mean, it's neat to hold a bigger ounce of silver, or 5 ounce bar, or 10 ounce, or, a 50 ounce bar is just like, wow. I mean, it's massive because all the energy. I mean, you're talking about how many tons of dirt did it take to put all that into that one, and then, what it takes to process it. But this is the idea, again, of what I'm saying, is that this here can break your transactions down into transactions. If you'll stop thinking about it so much as money, because it is, if it's silver, it's a way to have a way to make change too. Now you can actually make change. So you might not lose. Somebody might come with a big gold piece and they don't have any way to make change. Wait a minute. I'll tell you what. I got change. I'll make you some change for that gold piece, right? See? I have all kinds of denominations here to make change. So if that makes sense, that's why I prefer to break my transactions down and put them into smaller transactions, as opposed to, having them all locked into a larger transaction, which is unique about something like gold. Remember, 1 ounce of gold right now is out the door. You're probably talking about $3,700. In some places, a lot more. Gold is $4,800 an ounce in Canada. $4,800 for an ounce of gold right now in Canada. That's crazy, but the exchange rate is obviously different up there. So again, I would always try to break my transactions down into smaller transactions. That way I would have a way to make change, and that way maybe I wouldn't have to buy so much either. But if you had something like gold, you could get like nearly, I think the ratio is closed now up to about 90. It was around 100, now it's around 90. Silver's jumped up a little bit, and gold's slowly kind of, it's still gone up, but yeah, but that's not the out the door price, Lady in Red. That's the spot price. If you want to buy it and hold it in your hand, you're going to pay to own an ounce of gold. You're going to have to pay a premium for an ounce of gold. So yeah, gold is definitely going to have a higher premium. You're not that there's a higher premium in silver actually, but you're going to pay more to have an ounce of gold. You know what I'm saying? You're definitely you're not gonna yeah. Where did I put that gold piece at? I had that out here earlier. I was looking at her. Let's see where they put it. There it is. So what is it like if you want on AppMix here? I will pull a piece. I have a piece of gold here. We'll pull a piece of gold out. like this Canadian maple, right? Here's a 1 ounce gold Canadian maple. What's that right now for Canadian maple? 4/9. That's a 4/9 fine Canadian maple, gold ounce maple. Because you're going to pay a premium. What year is this one? This one's older too. This is a this is a 2010. It's a 2010 Eagle or maple. That 4/9 fine is so pretty. I don't really care too much for gold. It's not my thing. I like silver, but gold has its own, obviously, something about that Canadian mint that puts out that 4/9 fine is a really pretty, very pretty coin. So this is a 2010 Canadian maple. So that's the spot price of it. What's the price to buy this out the door on a credit card? And most people pay with a credit card. So there's a credit card price at like Atmex or JM or SD Bullion. Because that's the price if you want to buy the silver or the paper price of it. If you want to own this physical metal, you're going to pay more to own this physical metal. You're going to pay a premium to actually to have this in your hand. And there's the queen. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Ha ha! Oh, no, that's not nice. Well, she was old. Look how she's younger in this one because it's 2010. But look at that coin. Something about 4/9 fine gold is way different than even than the 3/9 fine. So you're going to pay a premium to hold this physical metal in your hand. This is the price that you're going to pay to have a paper contract. Well, sure. It depends on what it is. Remember, there's all kinds of things that make the metal worth more than just the actual price of it. Like this one might have a higher. That's not me. I'm not muted. No, I'm not muted. So, did they mute me? I'm not muted. I can see my button's not muted. So, but anyways, you're going to pay to have this in your hand. And actually, there's a higher premium on silver than there is gold. Right? Because if you buy these, you could buy 90 of these now, almost 90 of these for the cost of one of these. So every time you have to pay a premium on this silver, this could be a smaller premium on the gold. So there is a premium that you're going to pay to actually have the physical metal in your hand. It's one thing when you look at the spot price of something, most people don't know the metal markets. You're looking at the price of it to own a piece of paper inside of your portfolio, but not actually to hold the physical silver or gold inside your hand. So the paper price of it is not the physical metal price. And some places in states, they have taxes on it. Some, counties have tax. You can pay a phenomenal amount. That's it. I don't keep it for any other reason. That's pretty much why I keep it for, Ness, just to keep up with inflation, because they're just printing the money like it's going out of style. And land is a good asset. Animals, livestock, there's lots of good things. This is just something that has been for thousands of years. It's never gone to zero. So kings and queens held it because they knew it would at least keep its value. That's what it does. It retains you. This is wealth. This is money. If you have enough of this stacked up, you're going to be wealthy, period. I'm not trying to talk about wealth or giving any economic advice here. We're just talking a little bit about, about these two metals and the ratios. And we're talking about a purchase of today, which I didn't, plan on buying anybody, but they had they weren't charging me the premium. So I even left a couple sleeves on the table, like, told the guy I was with, hey, you better buy those. And he didn't buy them. And that's okay. He just went in, almost spent this much money to buy, a battery for his, eventually you could. And that's why I was talking about, this is what I was saying, Ness, is I'd rather have 14 of these. I'd rather have 14 of these than one of these. I'd rather have 14 of these because there's 14 dimes in one of these. And now there's 90 or almost there was 100 of these now to one of these. So I would rather have it all in dimes than to have gold. But gold is a store of value. You can put all this. Would you rather put 100 of these in your pocket or one of these? So if you were to travel with this, this is going to give you a whole lot more mobility and a store of value in a smaller place. Gold is very unique on its own. Okay. Remember, I'm not giving any economic advice. We're just talking about the two metals. But I'd rather have, Lady in Red said she'd rather have an ounce. I'd rather have 14 dimes. That way I can try to say, hey, I'll give you 13 dimes and try to take a dime home with me. I'll do that every time. I was raised that way. Now I won't do that in a store that's like full price or something. But if I'm going to swap meet or a flea market or garage sale or something like that, where I'm, like you said, and kind of like a trading or bartering, I'm going to always try to haggle you down. Say, you sure you can't take 13? You could take 13, couldn't you? You could do 13, right? Help me out, right? Ness, I'm a veteran. Come on, man. Help a veteran out, man. Did this guy just play the veteran card? Come on, man. You can't give me some kind of veteran discount here? Oh, man, Ness is a stickler. Okay, all right, here you go. And at this case, if I had 14 dimes in one of these, I'd probably give you this instead of the 14 dimes and still hold the 14 dimes, if that makes sense. We're just talking about, I consider this transactions. I don't care what it is. This, you can take anywhere on this rock and they'll give you their paper for it. Anywhere. Same thing with this. There's nowhere you can't go on this rock that you can't take gold or silver and they'll give you some of their paper. You talk to 2 or 3 people, they're going to give you some paper. They'll give you their dinar, their dong, their ruble. I don't care what it is. So, yeah. But what I'm trying to save up right now for, and why I have these precious metals in my hands right now, and I just had 40 pounds of silver stolen from me like a year ago. I can't believe how I already have, whatever, but I've been working my tail off here. I do a lot behind. No, you don't. You live stream all the time. No, I don't. I live stream a lot, but I do a lot of things when I'm not off, when I'm off this platform. So I'm a very busy man. I'm a man of many hats. So this I'm holding to try to purchase land. I'm having this to try to purchase land. And that's why today, when I went into town, I didn't plan on buying any. Actually, Kevin wanted to go by, just stop into the coin shop and just talk to the people at the coin shop for a minute and just say hi. You got to make face with your local coin shop. If you're going to sell something down the road, God forbid, you have to go somewhere. The coin shop is probably going to actually give you the one to give you the highest premium or highest price on your precious metals. So I didn't want to, but because I got such a good deal on these quarter ounce, here's the other one this is a different one. This is the only one I got that's this size. And I got one that was a 10th ounce. They only had one 10th ounce. But these are the ones that I had got because I couldn't pass up. They had not charged me the premium right now on these. Okay, I'll just outright tell you. I paid $9.70 for these, and online they go for about $14 out the door. Already made like a $5 premium price on it already. So I couldn't pass it up because I wasn't going to buy any silver. I kind of wanted to just keep my cash for now because I have to keep it as a bank. That's how I work. I'm actually retired, but this is how I work, you know. So I've decided I'm just retiring now. I'm not going to try to work anymore. And because I own my land and I own what I have, it's something I've made the decision. Now, it doesn't mean I won't work until I die, but I don't want to work anymore. Not like that. I'm not punching no clock for nobody. I'm not doing anything ever again. Never again will I do. I work for the ministry. I'm a pastor, and that's what I'm going to do until the day I die. I don't need to work anymore. I've already worked. I've already owned my land. I already have plenty of food. I don't need to buy any more food. I don't need any more food. I have enough probably food till I die. I have enough water storage or capability probably until I die. I have been working very hard, and everything was taken from me. Why do humans value gold and silver? Why is gold and silver? No, it doesn't give you power or protection. It's because it is God's money. Because gold is, you can't blow this up. This is a finite metal. It doesn't rust. This same piece of gold a million years from now is going to still be the same piece of gold. So that's why it has value. Okay. It always has been. Okay. Gold and silver at the time of Rome was valued 1 to 1. They valued this same ounce of gold to this piece of silver was 1 to 1. 1 to 1. They had no different value. They were exactly the same. This actually is worth way more than gold. It's used way more applications. This is the most reflective, most conductive metal on this rock. It's been used as an antimicrobial, antibacterial for thousands of years. It's used in whatever. It's the most widely used metal on this, but the ratio is because it's been manipulated is the reason why the two. This metal's been manipulated for 180 years, and so is this one. But we used to be on a bimetallic standard where the two metals would compete against each other. Two metals compete each other. It says they took us off this silver standard and put us on a gold standard so they can control the price of this metal. So, but for the last 8,000 years, gold and silver have never gone to zero. There's been 4,800 paper currencies, and the only ones that haven't gone to zero and sank are the ones that are currently floating around in circulation. They'll go to zero eventually as well, but this has never gone to zero. So this is why kings and queens put this away for generations. Again, at the time of Rome, you could buy the finest toga money could buy. I don't know how many thread count that was at the time of Rome. You could buy a nice steak dinner and a bottle of wine for your lady. You could come in anywhere in history. You can go into the 1800s. I think it was $3 or something an ounce. That would buy you the finest tailored suit money would buy. Nice steak dinner and a bottle of wine. Lady in red just came back in here and said that an ounce of gold is about 34, but out the door you're looking at about $3,800, $3,900, depending on which company you're buying it from. So if I'm not mistaken, that'll buy you a nice Armani suit. Nice Armani suit, a steak dinner, and a bottle of wine for your lady. Hey, ladies. See? It doesn't lose its value. It always keeps its value. So you go 1,000 years, 100 years in the future, and they're all wearing Space Force suits or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're not on a planet. Father didn't create any planets, there, Rusty Bull. We live between the firmament, waters above and the waters below. If you stop thinking that we're spinning around on a ball, maybe it won't be so hard to figure out that we're not corkscrewing and spinning on a ball or a block in the third dimension rock through time and space. That doesn't make any sense. Why are the constellations never changed? That's the stupidest thing ever. So, and that's not what you said. You just wanted to know what it was called. So, but anyways, this here, again, will always buy you, if you went 100 years into the future, it's going to buy you the outer garment, the steak dinner, and the bottle of wine. If they still got cows and grapes on this rock, okay, you will be able to buy this. This will never lose its purchasing power. That's the nice thing. So I don't care if they print this money into infinity, this will keep up. That's what this does. Silver, on the other hand, this is a more volatile metal. This is an industrial metal. This is used in way more many applications. This is the most widely used, the most reflective, most conductive metal on this rock. Okay, it's used in solar, photovoltaics. It's used in every circuit. This is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. This is what kills more people than the oil itself, is the silver in the circuitry since before World War I. We've had circuits and things. They've had circuits in the 1800s. Remember, this is okay. So this is not new technology. So this here, again, is what kills more people than any other. And I don't think Christ ever intended, they sold him for 30 pieces of this for us to kill each other with it. But hey, they sold him for 30 pieces of silver into slavery for 30 pieces, 30 ounces of silver. This is the first metal. This is the first money in Scripture, was the silver dinar. So this has always been money. This will always be money. Since the beginning of time, this was God's money. This is the first money mentioned in Scripture. And again, in the last 8,000 years, this has never gone to zero, whether it's gold or silver. Now, silver, it thrashes around. It has higher highs and lower lows. So I don't care about the price. Price is irrelevant. I look at the ratios between the two metals. The ratios when it was in our money was 15 to 1. 15 to 1. 15 to 1. 15 to 1. Now the ratio between the two metals, it was up to 100, is now like 90 to 1. So this will close. The ratio will close up. So this will make more money. This is at an all-time high. This has been $50 now 3 times. Yeah, we don't live on a planet. There's no such thing as the word planet. That did not exist in Scripture. There's no such word as planet. That's a man-made word like Lucifer. Never existed ever one time in the Scripture did Lucifer ever exist. That's not a word. Lucifer is as real as Chewbacca. It's not real. So no planets, no aliens, no Chewbacca, no Bigfoot. Oh, I got proof of Bigfoot. I live in the Pacific Northwest. Chewbacca had Wookiee with an Ewok, because that's what it says in Scripture, right? Get out of here. Almost feels like the people of the past knew that Silverhead. He and purpose they would eat it. Was also around cooking. That's right. They did. They did know that, Ness. Absolutely, they did. They did. They knew this, so that they put this in. They would put this in milk. They would put this in wine. I put this in my water filters, in my Berkey filters. I don't clean my water filters anymore, ever, because I put silver in the top and bottom filters, in the top and in the bottom. It never gets any algae on the filters. They don't clog up. They last, silver, okay? So this has been used for, they knew this. Like I said, you ever heard of, it's colloidal silver? We're not giving any health advice here, okay? So I don't know what I'm talking about. Colloidal silver has been used for a long time. They weave it into Band-Aids. It's used in clothing, photovoltaics. It's used in all circuitry, switches. Anything that's got a switch in it, high-tech, is going to have some silver in it. So if it's a small amount in that circuitry, it's going to have silver. So I don't care about price, again, between these two metals, because I pay attention to the ratios between the two metals. Again, this metal here used to be valued at the time of Rome 1 to 1. Whether yellow or white, it was 1 to 1. So that's what people don't pay attention to. I don't care about the price of the metal. It's irrelevant. The ratio between the two metals is what I pay attention to. Sure. Yeah, you can overdo that, and they know that, Rusty Bolt. That you can have too much silver. The colloidal silver, you shouldn't be taking it like that. And that's such a rare case. That's such a rare case. And so you're told not to do that. And he overdid it. He was way overdoing it, and he knew damn good and well what he was doing. That wasn't by no chance. You know, I know you're talking about, I've seen all that, but that like I said, I think it's hilarious how people do that, you know, or have done that in the past. He's not the first person to do that. So, but anyways, there are, like I said, I have kind of a favorite. I've never owned a gold buffalo, but one day maybe I will. And I don't care. I don't care if I ever own a gold buffalo. I don't want to own anything, actually. So the only reason why I have this piece of gold right here is to save it. And now that I'm not buying that piece of property, or at least for now, until I go to court and do whatever, if I choose to do that. Because remember, that guy pulled a gun on me. So I ain't even sitting there tripping. I ain't whatever, how many thousands of dollars. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I have a property in Ecuador I'm trying to buy. The only reason I was trying to buy that property was so I could have the freeze dryer. I'll figure it out. It is what it is. That's what Father does. You know, he just kicks my butt. But anyways, I kind of have a thing for the Canadian gold. I like the Canadian gold. I think it has a certain, with that 4 9s, and they even make a 5 9s fine gold. This is Canadian maple, and this is a 2010 Canadian maple. So it's kind of a little bit older piece. Obviously, you know, it's 20, so it's about 10 years old. So what's kind of neat about following any of these pieces is the queen is going to get younger and younger on any of these pieces that you have, which is going to be, you know, and the queen's not just on, you know, Canadian mint, but I'm saying for this is probably my favorite mint for gold. I don't really like gold. I remember when I showed my son, he's like, Dad, what the hell you have gold for? We're silver bugs, Dad. I'm like, son, you got to have a little diversity here. So, you know, I'm just trying to keep up with the times. I didn't buy the Bitcoin when you told me to buy the 10 Bitcoin at $300, and they went up to how much? You know, 100,000. So Dad's got to put some skin in the game. So anyways, and this is a nice way for me to pack. Remember, now I don't have to tote around 90 of these. I have 90 of these or one of these. I'm trying to buy a piece of land that's $38,000. So it's going to be much easier for me to try to invest in something like this. And actually, I didn't invest into something like this. I traded for the gold pieces that I have. I actually traded for a Jeep that was worth 2 ounces of gold, but I gave the guy a good deal because he knew the owner. And that's just the way I am. I don't care about taking a hit on something like that. It's just the way I'm a trader. Sometimes it works out. He was so happy. He was going to give me $2,000 and this piece of, and not this one. It was another piece that I had, but, and a piece of gold. And when he saw that I would take 1 ounce, he drove immediately. He drove, you know, a couple hours away and said, I'm on my way with that piece of gold. Are you sure you'll take one piece of gold? I said, yep, let's just do this. I don't want to sit here and split hairs. Maybe gold will go up. And he offered, when he came, he said, I'll give you the money if you want, but if you want the gold, I'll give you the gold. I said, no, I want the gold, because gold could go up. The cash is just going to keep losing its purchasing power, and they just keep printing more. So I went in, and so the 2 ounces of gold that I have came from trades. But one of them was for a truck, a Mazda pickup. That's this one. That's where this one came from. And the other one was from a trade on the Jeep that I had out here. You guys had seen it. So I'm on my way. That's almost what? Those 2 ounces of gold are, you know, with the premium of being about $3,500, that's almost $7,000 for 2 pieces of gold. So hopefully in the next 2 months to 3 months, I don't know where I'm going to come up with it. I have a lot of things for sale online. Remember, I have a $38,000 property for sale right now. So I have a property for sale for the same price as the property in Ecuador. So, and I'm going to buy that property whether I go to Ecuador or not. So I'm buying it for the ministry. I'm not buying it for me. So just like I was buying that 5-acre parcel, I wasn't buying it for me. I was buying it for the ministry. So like I said, today when I went into town, I had sold something else out here. Like I sold that propane tank. I went ahead today and socked some money into some more silver, because I know that, you know, they're just keep printing more money, more and more money. So these are 1/4 ounce rounds. These are have a higher premium to them. And actually, if you took right now, I don't know if you want to look up, but like I said, I paid $9.70 a piece for these, and I looked online, and they're about $14 and some change out the door. If you wanted to buy that silver 1/4 ounce Liberty recessed, it's I think they call it I forget what the name, because this used to be a gold piece too, as well. But this is actually has a recessed. It's inside. It's not pushing out. The design on it is inlaid. It's inlaid. See that? It's inward. It's not. Most designs push outward. Like this. See, this pushes outward. This pushes out. This design is inward. It's inlaid, which is pretty neat. Come on, you cheap camera. See how that's inlaid? It's inlaid, which is kind of neat. Kind of a different way to do it. Not normally done that way. So, like I said, I wanted to buy because they had 2 more tubes there, but I'm like, I can't. You know, I need to keep some kind of cash because I have land payments still. I got at least one property out here that I have a 20-acre parcel that I still have a land payment on. So, I got to keep some operating cost out here. You remember, I don't get Social Security, I don't get disability, I never got child support. I don't get, you know, and I surely don't make money here off this platform. For any hours that I spend, I would probably make about a cent and a half an hour for all the hours that I live stream. But I do appreciate people who donate from time to time to the ministry. So your tithe of time is more valuable than any money too. So again, today, this purchase here, I was able to come up about, because of the premiums on it, they're about $14 a piece online for a 1/4 ounce, one of these out the door, a piece on a credit card. So I paid 9 something. So I bought 60 of them. I don't know what that was. I think it was like $570 or something like that. And when I looked online, what does that come up to? I think they were 14 1/4 online is what I was looking at. So that's why I went ahead and bought them, because I had the cash and I wanted to try to save the cash, but like it doesn't make any sense at that rate to hold on to the cash. So yeah, they're 14.25 times 60. So that's $855. $855. I should have paid $855 for these today. I should have paid $855 for these. Minus $570. So that was my come up already. But just by purchasing those, because of the premium. And I'm sure they're going to go up. So by buying these, I already made $285. You see why I bought them? You know, I couldn't. Normally, you have to pay the premium because these are smaller. These are smaller. There's going to be more premium to buy things that are smaller. So, not a bad deal. I was pretty stoked when I went in there, because we went to the coin shop and I didn't buy anything. They had a really neat buffalo. It was a big 5 ounce, and I said, I just can't. I need to save, you know, my cash right now, and if something comes up, you know, we'll see. I need to save it for the right purchase. I have to do that. That's how I operate with the bank. So, not a bad come up there though. For, like I said, for $9.75 a piece, you know, was it 9.75? Really? Oh, I paid $9.50 a piece for them, didn't I? 9.50. Yeah, 570. Yep, that was 570. So yeah, that was a good deal. Like I said, I was happy that I'd saved that cash, and I was able to get into 60 of these 1/4 ounce pieces, which are pretty neat. Like I said, I really I don't probably only ever had like 2 or 3 of these, maybe 3 or 4 of these ever. I just didn't get a bunch of them. And I think actually the ones I had were 1/2 ounce, and these are 1/4 ounce ones. So they had some 1/2 ounce ones, but I'd only been able to buy half as much. So something about silver, just something about silver. And it's just shiny dirt. It's not, I don't care, but it's pretty. These are brand new. Let's ping a couple of those real quick. Oh, we dropped her. Well, those are thin. You hear that? That's got its own tone. Put that up a little more. There we go. Okay. Definitely doesn't have that same tone as this. Here, listen to this. Try to ping it with one of these. Boy, that's so thin. Look how thin those are. Those things are super thin. It's got its own tone. Ping, ping. Yeah, that's a weird tone, but they're so thin. Oh, man. I can't get my finger to... Those are so thin, it's hard to rest your... Look how thin those are. It's hard to rest it on your finger because my fingers are... I don't have the fattest fingers, but I don't have little hands. I don't have small hands, right? So... There we go. That sounds like silver. Anyway, so I think it was a good buy today. Like I said, if you look at what I paid for them, I paid $9.70 a piece for them. $9.70 a piece for these, and online they're going for 14 and some change a piece. So almost a $285 straight out the gate profit, because I was able to have the cash on hand, and I'm glad that I sold, I sold something out here at the ministry. So I'm well on my way, guys. I'm well on my way. And actually not having to spend more money on that other property, because there was a lot, we're talking about buying a whole nother 2 acres with a house and land. That frees up the rest of what I have here to put towards Ecuador. So, maybe another... I'm not going to make a mention because I haven't even counted it, but I'm going to keep stacking my chips. And here, hopefully someday soon, I'll get you guys a call and say, hey, I'm going to go and make an offer on that property in Ecuador. So this helped me today. Like I said, this helped me today by actually putting $250 at least, $285 in my pocket because of the price that I paid for these. They weren't charging the premium on, which normally they do. You pay more when you buy a smaller amount of silver. And so they were just charging me like I was buying it like this price. They were charging me this price instead of charging me, you know, a fractional price for it, which is normally, that's not uncommon. You're going to pay more if you buy a half ounce or a quarter ounce. That's just the way it is, you know. So I was stoked today that I didn't spend any money at that. And it's fine. It would only what that 5 ounce round would have cost me. He said $200 for that 5 ounce buffalo, which is about $40 an ounce. So, $9.70, you know, times it's actually cheaper, but then this is the smaller, you know, yeah, what was it? What I did, 30. Or $9.50 a piece, yeah. Oh, what the heck did that do? Oh yeah, 37.75. I think that was the price of it, yeah. I have my receipt here too. I wonder what I did with that receipt. I have my receipt here. What did I do with that receipt? Where did I put my receipt? Nice. Yeah, $9.50 a piece. Nice, yeah. Good stuff. Well, heck yeah. Found the I'm not sure if I took that 5084 off there. Lady in red, will you go double check that? I think I took that off there the other day. So, anyways, there was the receipt for it, man. Heck yeah. So that was a good deal. I'm glad that I was able to pick those up. So that just put, again, almost $300 back. And every penny counts right now. So, and I don't think the price of silver is going to go down. So this is a good purchase for the ministry. Hey, we're $300 closer. That 570, we said 570 is what I paid. And if we said that they're 14 point, I think they're 14.25 a piece times 60 is 855. Yeah. 855 minus, yeah, $285 profit. Good deal. Thank you, Father, for that. I'm glad I bought them. And I'm very hesitant to spend any money. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have any extra money. So I went to the Goodwill today. What did I buy? I bought a dog collar and some hair clippers. Because mine stopped. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. Silver light gold. I don't know what that end number is off there. I took that off there. That was just kind of complicated. I didn't put that on there. So the other day when I was in there, I saw that and I took that off there. So what else did I buy today? Oh, I bought some beef bacon. Some beef bacon, guys. Beef bacon. You ever had beef bacon? I bought some beef bacon. All right, here we are. Well, I'm getting more people. I got more people on Silver's Like Gold, Lady in Red. What's going on with this channel? Huh? We're having more people over there in the Silver's Like Gold channel than we're getting over here. That's kind of crazy. Put up a piece of gold here. Silver dimes. Silver dimes. Hear those? Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It's okay. I don't care. It don't matter. I don't care if this channel grows or whatever. But anyways, you hear the sound of that? It just sounds different, doesn't it? We got any mercury dimes? There's a mercury dime. There's a mercury dime. That one's not in bad shape. Let's check in the back of it. Oh, yeah. That one's in good shape. Look at that. Heck yeah, that's in real good shape. You can almost see the lines in that one. Nice. Kind of kept a similar design, but not exactly right. See that? That's a Rosie, called a Rosie dime, because it's a Roosevelt. And this is a mercury dime. I couldn't tell you what year it's from because I can't read anymore off of these darn things. My eyes will not work. It's kind of a bummer. I used to be able to read this stuff, and now I couldn't even tell, and I can't get my eyes to focus anymore. Oh, look what I found today too, Lady in Red. Look what I found today. I found a second one of these, Lady in Red. That means they must have hit Elijah. That's what must have blown out the windows with the motorhome. Outside, over by the motorhome. Not where I was at, over by the motorhome where Elijah was at. So that means they hit him with a grenade too. I don't know if they did that when I was sleeping. Because I went back and watched that live stream. There's more on that stuff that I need to have that sent in and then like a full forensic done on it. But I found another one of these today. I was not a happy camper. That means they hit Elijah with one of these too. I wasn't the only one that got hit. Unless that was two. No, because remember I said flash bang. Did they throw two? No. They didn't throw two of these at me at the same time. I'm going to have to go back and watch. Remember I talked about two separate bangs. Maybe they threw two at. This was close enough where they could have thrown it from. It could have gone either way. Maybe they did. Maybe that's why I thought. I kept thinking that I heard a second bang in there, and now it's starting to make sense. Because look at that. Them son of a, you know what? So anyways, another one of these I found. And look how long it's been sitting there now. You know? So either they threw one at Elijah or that was that second concuss. And I think it's one. I think they threw one at Elijah too. Because I think this is what they threw in the window and blew the windows out while the front of the window was blown out on the motorhome and the side window's all blown out. You know, the front window's not blown out, but it's all busted. So they must have threw that in and it, bam, and that's why him and his old lady went out of the door so quickly, because they got concussed, when he came out. And that explains why, because I could hear him and he was being a little loud, but not overly loud, but probably couldn't hear. That he's being loud. Remember me? I was all talking all funny because I had just been grenaded to the face. So a second one I found today. These people are going to have to go down for this sooner or later. So I've got a court date coming up, but there's no attorney. Remember? There's no attorney signed to the case anymore. He quit. So I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. I was going to buy the property in Ecuador and worry about it later. So anyways, thanks for letting me share that with you. That was a good purchase again today for the ministry, because that's about a $300 come up. And for me, that's a lot of money. So, that's a land payment out here. So on the 20 acres. But anyways, let's, what time's here? Yeah, I'll probably get this wrapped up here. So I want to get up and get some work done out here on the ministry out here. I was getting some more digging in the well the other day, getting that going, working on that front section up there where I had it pinned up because of the wind, and now I've got it, built, and I'm going to build the sides on it. I already have one side almost completely built and the other side framed in. So I'll be working on that tomorrow. Maybe I'll come in here tomorrow and we'll show you some stuff that I've been doing out here. Some of the work that's been going on out here. Just, lots of things going on out here in the ministry. So, good to be back over here at High Desert Faith and Truth with the regulars. Appreciate everybody who supports the ministry, and check back. Make sure you're hitting that notification, button, and or the bell button. They unsubscribe people all the time to the channel. So if you want to be a part of the ministry, you're going to probably have to make sure you come back and you're subscribed, often. Just part of what goes on here. So again, I wanted to come on here and check back in with you guys. And I know we've been doing some work on the backup channel. We only picked up about 10 people on the backup channel, but that's okay. It was good to see some new faces over there, and to see a few of the regulars come over. Lady in Red and Connection was over there. Brother Ross was over there. We had some others come over and join us over there. So it was good to do some work. I'll probably still do some work over there from time to time. Just bring in some more faces to the fold, if we will. So appreciate you guys' time. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here, and about 2 hours here. Good. Yeah, that's good timing. Pay attention to what's going on out there. Very important time. Be wise. This is not time to be playing games. This is time to be getting ready, and maybe very soon you'll be able to help others out with the things that you put away, hopefully for more than just yourself. And I know a lot of us are just struggling just to get by. So, but that's no excuse. Come on, I make it, and I don't get any Social Security, disability. I don't get, and I still figure out a way to do it. I grind it out. So you can do it if you chip away a little bit, chip away a little bit, chip away a little bit. Next thing you know, a big old piece. I haven't used that yet. Like I said, I haven't used it as of yet. I don't know if that was a hand cream or a hand cleaner, but I have some kind of hand cleaner too. I put it with my other hand cleaner that I had. I think that's what it was. So, all right, guys, let's wrap it up there. Please leave a comment, and I do. Thanks, Lady in Red. I appreciate all the pins and stuff. Like I said, I have them all sit up here, and I got another, I think 8 of them today or something in a box. There was, or in that same, whatever. There's some other random colors. So, oh, okay, yeah. That'd probably be good days. I'll probably use that, Lady in Red, when I'm going to start doing concrete work in the back again. And when I do concrete work, I don't wear gloves. I just use my hands, and my hands get pretty thrashed after working in concrete all day. So I'll probably use it then. And I'm going to have to get going on that concrete work here very soon. That's why I'm trying to get some of these other things done so I can get to it for the dog days of summer get here, and we get, super warm, because before you know it, it's going to be winter time, and summer don't last forever. The winter's a lot longer than the summer, so I don't want to plan on this winter, lasting, uh, or the summer lasting like an Indian summer. Uh, So yeah, my hands get pretty thrashed from working in concrete, and sometimes I use chemicals and stuff on. I don't usually wear gloves. I mean, I got man hands. That's what a hand looks like when you work. So um, I try to keep them clean, but they're as clean as my hands get right there. They don't get any cleaner than that. Those are calluses. So um, yeah, I appreciate it though, because they get super if that's like a conditioner, and I don't like stuff on my hands at all. I only use coconut oil, period. That's what I use. But I'll try it, because I know Gojo makes some good products. They're really top of the line stuff, and I don't like oily stuff. That's why I kind of like the coconut oil. It goes away pretty quick. But all right, guys, let's wrap this one up. Appreciate everybody joining me here again. Good to be back on the main channel here. Appreciate it if you leave a comment after the video. We've been kind of lacking a little bit on that. That's okay though. It is what it is. If you want to leave a thumbs up, that would truly help. A tremendous. That kind of let people know, hey, this is something to look at. And then links are in the description if you want to leave a monetary tithe. It's there, and I think we've always got that super chat turned on. So thanks for your tithe of time, and we'll be back tomorrow if the sun doesn't knock us out or something, the Most High willingly. So maybe we'll do a little viewing of what's been going on out here at the ministry, and I'll show you what some of the stuff that I've been working on too. Like I said, digging in the hole down there, we're making some changes, and yeah, I'm starting to work on the Rusty Dragon. Kevin's, got the rest of his stuff out of there, so I've been working on that, doing work. I've just been doing a lot of different things out here in the ministry. So lots of things going. I'm always, like I said, got 1,000,001 projects going. Still looking for bodies to come out here. If you know anybody's serious and not somebody who's self-motivated and doesn't need to be prodded to get up out of bed and can, maybe read a tape measure or something like that. I'm looking for a couple bodies, but they've got to be somebody that's in the narrow way. So I'm not looking, you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for somebody who I have to tell what to do and instruct, and somebody who's self-motivated. So if you know anybody like that, wanting to homestead and get off the grid, maybe they got a skill set, I'm sure I can provide a huge opportunity for somebody, for the right person, or one or two, or maybe even a family. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, just let me know. Have somebody contact me through the Predestined4light Gmail in the bio. So, all right, Pastor Revelation, appreciate you guys coming in today and this evening, and I'll see you guys on the next broadcast. Welcome to the new age. What an amazing time. I hope that you're paying attention to what they're doing here. Please be ready for the Walmart work camps, guys. That's who just did this. Kings. No Kings sponsored. It was all Walmart. It's the Waltons that are doing this. Oh, home run, and he knocks it out of the park here, doesn't he? Yep, Pastor Revelation knocks it out of the park again. It was the Waltons that did it, so don't expect it to get any easier. I'd expect them to continue their march towards these, work camps. So hope you're not in one of them. Might be a good time to get your fourth point of contact where the hell you're at if you're in the city, and get away from the city and come out here to the country. So, anybody maybe wants to homestead, they don't have to come here to this property. I do have another couple properties for sale too. So one on Marketplace, one not. Get a hold of me, and we'll go from there. All right. Links in the description again. If you want to support the ministry, thumbs up the video after, and leave a comment if you'd like about maybe something we talked about might interest somebody, and they might come in here and check out the live. So, all right, Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.